and you just think, surely you must have a close friend or a family member who can take you to one side and say, listen, stop doing this.
But they're the ones that are telling, no, you've got to keep your dream, don't give up.
What?
Then they go, he never gave up, this comedian.
Yeah, well, should treat you like 7 years to become a vet. You're not qualified after 7 years then.
If you're not getting any paid work or anything.
Yeah, you're not a vet. Fair enough, if you like it, you're a hobbyist, but there's some people which are just, you just think, bloody hell. He's still doing open spots after 10 years and he's still got the same 5-10 minutes of material. You just think, come on, mate. It's time to knock it on the head. But,
is it difficult?
But some people do like. Some people like to be able to go into work and say they're a comedian as well, so.
Is it difficult doing the Gong Show and seeing the same sort of people that aren't very good try it again and again?
No, because you sometimes see an improvement in it, and I think you get some who get up who are complete nutters, and that's what you need at a Gong. You need some if you can get some head the balls on, and get them coming back, and they're the kind of people, and that's not being cruel on them. So every now and again you get one complete head the ball who is not all there, and then you feel really bad then about
it. Goes in the X Factor territory. People.
Yeah, but then you get somebody who knows exactly what they're doing, and they either turn up with a big bag of props or no idea what they're doing and just act like stupid on stage, and you just go, keep going back. I
remember seeing the one in Manchester, seeing a guy go up in just a fish's mask.
Yeah.
And he just stood there, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, but some, I think, but the crowd can get, the thing is with a Gong, when you're starting out, whether you like them or not, I don't know whether they're a necessary evil or not, but do not take them seriously. But particularly the Gong shows at the comedy stores. One in London, which I host often, is your chance to do a gig in front of 400 people, professional lights, in a club with professional PA, not a room above a pub where 5 of the 10 audience are your friends, and the other 5 are comics you've never even met. So use it as an opportunity for that, and just enjoy it. It could be brutal, it could be horrible. You could last 30 seconds. You might last 5 minutes. You never know. But yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I remember I done the comedy Gong Show in Manchester, done really well.
Yeah.
Ended up winning that, and then I went down a couple of months later to do the London one. And I think I went up a bit cocky, thinking I've won the Manchester one.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can have, because I only last like a minute and a half.
Yeah. They're a lot more brutal in London.
Yeah.
We're getting there in Manchester. It's taken a long time to get to the level they are now. But yeah.
Well, are they more brutal in Manchester? You mean, are they?
No. In London, they're a lot more brutal. They're a lot more. Yeah. Go mad. I've had some funny nights there. I had a guy. It was quite cruel on my part. He was on crutches, and it took him about a minute to get onto the stage, and he lasted about a minute and a half, and the cards went up, and I don't even know why the cards went up, and it took him about a minute to get off the stage, and I said to the card, I said, you're a bit harsh there. I said, come back on, come and have another go. So he came back. It was another minute to get back on the stage, and he started, and about 30 seconds later, card holders carded him. So I gonged him off, and he walked off, and it took another minute. I said, they're taking the fucking piss, these. I said, I knew they'd do that. Well done, you, but come on, let's give him another go. And he got back up doing this whole process took about 15, 20 minutes, and he got back up for the third time. He was on for about 20 seconds, and then he looked at me and went, oh, you can fuck, I know what's going on. Then he hobbled off himself. It was like the third time getting back on, he clicked what was going to happen. So, yeah.
Did you do any Gong shows when you started?
The Gong Show wasn't going, but a lot of the I started in late '97 doing Monday nights at the Frog and Bucket, which was a bear pit. It used to be fucking horrible. A really weird bear pit as well. It'd be about 12, 15 acts, could do anywhere between 5-10 minutes each. It'd be I think the first night I did it, I didn't get on stage until like half past midnight. It was it was a Tuesday morning. And then this crowd had decided, we're going to really love the first 2 acts, and then we're going to be fucking mean to the next 7, and then love what you did. That's how it was every week. It was horrible. You couldn't play it, and then so I used to do that every Monday night. So that was a sort of like a really quick learning curve, and then started picking up a lot of open spots. But then a lot of the gigs I used to do, like open spots that were quite, particularly around the north, in that corridor between Liverpool to Leeds, were quite bear pits. They all seem to be just nasty for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because the back end of the 90s, and everybody's fueled up on lad culture, and it was like, whoa, you know, it was that kind of attitude. So I think I did. Anybody Star that time, did tougher gigs and gong shows.
Do you think, like, to take away when you have a bad gig, the best, you should always think what you could have done better? Do you think sometimes it is the crowd? Sometimes you go, well, they're just idiots. Do you think you should always look at what you could have done better?
Every now and again it is the crowd, and there's nothing you can do. But that's usually. Listen, there's an MC and there's 4 acts on this. There's 5 of you, and everybody's had a tough time. Then you go, right, it's the crowd. It's quite clearly is. But you've got to be honest with yourself, and probably 90% of the time, it's yourself. It's something you've done wrong. You've started wrong. You've said something wrong. You've done something wrong. Sometimes you can never put your finger on it. Sometimes you've just got to accept the fact as well that the crowd probably lovely for everybody else and just decided not to like you. And you can,
especially if you're on first.
Yeah, but you can analyse everything you did and think, well, I did nothing wrong there, but they just didn't like me, or maybe they don't like that kind of humour. Sometimes you're just not funny enough for it. There's nothing worse than watching an act who's the crowd don't like, and then you see the act screaming at the crowd, you don't get me, you're stupid.
I'm too edgy for you.
Yeah, edgy, oh fucking hell, Chris. Oh, edgy, oh right, okay. So because you've got a shit rape gag or something. Yeah, right, yeah.
I remember doing a really bad gig a while ago, it didn't go very well, and I was thinking, I hope the other acts do badly, because then it's not me.
Yeah, sometimes you do think that. But opening gigs is tough in the opening act, but that's something you've got to learn as well to progress. Martin Big Pig Moore said it best. It's when you start out, you do everything you can to get yourself to be closing gigs to the headliner. Then when you've been closing and headlining for a couple of years, you do everything you can to get on first so you can go on. That's true. Yeah, that's exactly true.
So, so when did you do your first gig?
About, I would say, October '97.
And what had persuaded you to give it a go?
Just something I wanted to do. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to. How old was I then? I was 29, and then I was doing a bit of DJ at the weekends. I was an upholsterer. I used to make furniture, but a lot of the work I did was refurbishing pubs and restaurants and so on. And then I had this moment one night where I had a drink, just thinking. I knew I was going to be 30 in just in about just under a year's time. But then I thought, I don't want to ever get to the age of 40 and not try something I wanted to try. And I'd always fancied having a go at it, but I didn't know where to go. I had no idea where to go. I wasn't online. There was no internet. There was no forums. There was nothing. I thought the only club that did the kind of stand-up I wanted to do was a Comedy Store in London. I didn't know there was other clubs around the country. And then I heard an advert on the radio on the way to work one morning for the Frog and Bucket in Manchester, saying that on Monday nights anybody can get up at this comedy club to have a go. And I was alright, I'll do that. And I went down and then spent the first year I was doing it thinking he had to be different every time he went on stage.
Yeah, a lot of new acts think that mistake.
Yeah.
They think they have to come up with a new 5 minutes every week.
Yeah, I was doing that 5-10 minutes every week. Yeah, well.
It's not a bad way to write though.
No, it's not a bad way. And you'd end up writing on the foot. It was really weird for almost a year. I'd be terrified of everybody in the crowd talking to me, and I'd say that's my biggest strength now. Is actually just being able to chat to a crowd.
How do you get relaxed to the stage where you're relaxed enough to do that and know that it's going to be all right? Because if every time I talk to a crowd, I think I've got to say something funny. And of course, I panic, so it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. It does happen. It eventually happens, but. You're in charge. Whether you like it or not, they trust you. You're the one up there, so you can do it at your pace. And you know what? Sometimes you say things and they don't get laughs, and you find a way of skirting over.
The Jay Leno thing I like is where he acts like he's just finishing a sentence and he connects it to the next sentence. So it just looks like a continuation of what he's saying. Yeah.
Well, that's how to do it. I mean, a lot of comics make a mistake. I think it's a mistake when they tried a new bit of material and they said to the crowd, I tried a new bit of material, that didn't work. I said, well, it might have been new material, but the crowd had no idea it was new material, so you had no need to tell them. You could have just gone on to, because if you do that a couple of times in a set, I think that's when the crowd start.
You get away with it once, maybe get a laugh off.
I think an audience start thinking, he doesn't even trust himself here,
As soon as they see the doubt,
so they've no idea that you've tried something new. You just move on to the next thing. They just think it was a bit of filler. They've no idea what's going on. So I'll never acknowledge it try something new, and But I've got a habit of just trying completely new chunks and going from, because I basically write while I'm on stage. I get an idea and then think I'll run with it on stage, see what I can come up with. That's how I do most of my writing.
And was there a moment when you started comparing that you were talking to someone and you thought, "Oh God, I've nailed it, I know how to do this comparing thing," or was it always a natural thing?
I've always. People might kindly call it quick-witted. A lot of people, friends of mine, call it. I've been a big mouth. I've always been very good with a comeback. I've always been very good. What they used to call, the phrase now was they call it banter. Everything's banter.
Yeah, banter, man.
Yeah,
banter. You can be an asshole and just call it banter.
I fucking hate it. A banter now is a word that's used for sometimes just being a cunt to somebody.
Yeah, totally.
And you just go, you've just been nasty to somebody. It's not banter. You see evidence of that all over social media sites.
Film someone getting their head kicked.
Oh, it's just banter. Fuck off! It's not. You're being a dick. So I'd always had the ability to be able to come back with something. Yeah, and it helps as well. It particularly helps when you're emceeing, because it means that most of the time I don't have to do any material. I can chat to the crowd, set their room up, and then bounce things around off them. But when I started, you got the chatty quicker without wanting to, because the clubs were so few and far between.
Right.
You'd do I've been going about a year before I got, not quite a year, when I got a paid spot, my first paid spot, and
did you do well?
No, I don't know if I did or not. But you turn up at gigs like an open spot where you're doing 10 minutes, and then the guy said, "Can you do 20 minutes? I'll give you 20 quid." You go, "Yeah, of course." You go, "I haven't even got fucking 20 minutes," and you find yourself making bullshit.
Yeah.
That used to happen a lot. It happened a lot.
Well, did you, when you first started, write shorter gags or kind of stories? Or
I started out doing a few one-liners when I started. I was quite. I don't like the phrase, but it was quite surreal. It was quite weird, some of the stuff, and I just developed. I didn't purposely I didn't purposely stop becoming surreal. Every now and again, I have surreal elements run through routines I do, but not like I was when I started. It's been, I don't know. There's not many people can pull it off and then make a career out of it. You see a lot of that. I see a lot of new acts starting. I think, oh god, they're making me laugh because they're a bit off the wall. But you can see a crowd staring at them, going, "What the fuck is this guy going on about?"
Yeah.
It takes some balls to stick with that, I think.
It's not a lot of time as well. It's more about the persona and what's in between the gags.
Yeah, probably. I used to do loads of routines about made-up stories about famous people I used to live nearby.
Oh, really? What kind of famous people?
Like Leonardo DiCaprio. His real name is Lenny Capri. He wasn't allowed. His mum was always afraid he'd scuff his shoes, and he used to have wheels on his shoes. His mum used to push him. Just all sorts of really weird stuff about Edward Woodward being a PE teacher who lived on our street. And always got
Edward Woodward, the actor.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the bad filmmaker there, going back to Bela Lugosi.
Oh right, yeah, Ed Wood.
Yeah, that's it, Ed Wood. Also, you just sort of made up sort of surreal stories about famous.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And really silly stories about finding on my way home from school a penguin with a broken wing, then nursing it back to health for a couple of years, and just all sorts, stuff like that.
I watched you do a routine yesterday. It was one of the Edinburgh Fringe ones. And it was about you fancying your daughter's friends.
Oh, that was on McIntyre, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And do you find with a routine like that, it becomes awkward because they might see it? It
does. They know it's a gag, and I got complaints, actually. I got the record number of complaints from McIntyre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it wasn't that gag, although I did get quite a few. I got the record number of complaints because I did a routine about getting a dog drunk.
Oh, really? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. A nation of animal lovers.
Yeah. But it's alright to, perv after your daughter's friends. But
she's 20 at the time, you know what I mean? It just, come on.
But if you get a dog, that's mental.
Yeah.
Did your agent tell you? How did you hear about that?
Well, it was really weird on the night. We did nearly 20 minutes of stuff, and then I had no say-so on what they were using. In fact, the bits they used is not the bits I want them to use, but it was... I don't think it was edited that well on the night. Well, I don't think it did me any favours. It was